हरि ओम् नमः सर्वेभ्यः अद्वैतचिन्तनवर्गे सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. So we decided that today we will have a open house question answer session. We have covered a lot of subjects. I mean, for those who have been there with us from the beginning, started with Aparokshanubhuti. We had Dakshinamurti Stotram. Then we had Kenopanishad-Sankara Bhashya. So we have aligned ourselves mainly with the Advaita Vedanta as explained by Shankaracharya. So we need to now decide as to what should be our methodology or approach to future studies and how do we go ahead. And in that case, what I am thinking, I want you all to respond to that, is what I thought is that we will go in the traditional route as how it will be done in a typical Advaita ashrama or a traditional monastery where they teach Advaita. That method we will adopt so that we are very much in tune with the tradition. Not only that, we also get to know the very basics of Advaita as seen by Shankaracharya, and in his time how he has taken both the opposition and explanations for their questions becomes very clear in our mind, so that in the process we will be able to develop a thought process which can be applied to our day-to-day life in the application of Advaita to our living. Like we all know that the purpose of spirituality or Advaita particularly is to understand the truth of what is called the phenomenon world, and which includes the individuals, who we are. To know the truth behind that, which will give us clarity as to what is the reality and what we can expect out of the life, or how we should be able to overcome sorrows or afflictions from the day-to-day problems of life, and as text specify, the freedom from the bondage which we feel with our body, mind and intellect with the world. There is no other way. Nanya Panda Vidyate Ainaya. As the Upanishad says that there is no other way which one can adopt to free himself from the limitations what we are being free. As individuals, we are being, forced to believe that we are limited by space, time, causation, and the limit of the body, the condition of the body, the limitation of the location, and our limitation of sense organs to apprehend the world, because light can see only a certain range, sound can hear only certain range, and proximity only can give us the sensation of touch, taste, etc. Do we have a status or a reality beyond this? If at all it is there, where can we find it and how do we find it? This is how the Upanishad and the explanation by Adi Shankara helps us in finding out a method, but the journey will have to be done by the individuals. Even though the teachings are very, very cryptic in nature, and a lot of input has to be done by the listener according to the capacity. But when we do it a study like this and have a question answer session, some angles at which we do not see a problem or a question or an answer need to be found out can be heard when our colleagues put up these questions, which we may not have even thought in that direction. That is why these type of question answer sessions will be highly helpful for us to hone our capabilities of thinking for the manana or the thought process which we are supposed to engage ourselves on a pratibodha viditam matam for every experience what we are going through. So keeping this in mind, I thought that as the traditional teaching is mentioned, which my guru did to me, we will do the first 4 sutras of Brahma Sutra, what is called the Chatusutri, with Sankara Bhashya alone. There are multiple and many sub-commentaries for that, but we will not be entering to all those things because they are all highly sophisticated language and logic, and analyzing the each word with their word meanings and intended meaning and the indicative meaning, plus the logic behind it. Why should there such a word be there? Why not it be analyzed in a different mode? All those things are there in the sub-commentaries, which we don't want to get into because that is purely will be a jugglery or a brain teaser who have deeper knowledge in Sanskrit. So I'm not intending to get into that, but as what Acharya Shankara wanted us to approach the reality, I'll stick to his Bhashya, which is in Sanskrit. There are English translations of it, which I'll be also sharing with it. But the explanation which I'll be doing will be based on the Sanskrit word and its intended meaning as per the Acharya. And those who want to read extra can always go ahead and read. There is no problem on that. And they can come and ask if they have any doubt on that. So from the next class, I'm intending to start the Brahma Sutra, first 4 sutras, which is called the Chatusutri, or the 4 sutras of Brahma Sutra, which has been very highly used by people who are in the traditional way, because it summarizes the Advaita in one way or the other. And those who have started with that is crystal clear as to what is the goal of our studies subsequently. Because most of the time what happens when we enter into a typical college or school study, we do not have a goal or a target where we need to reach. We just go through the rigmarole of each class, what is being taught and what is the purpose of it, where it is applied. Nothing is being questioned. We just follow like a herd driven by the cattle, the shepherd or whatever is that, and where we are going we have no idea. We completed first standard, second standard, 10th, college, pre-college or college or graduation, and when then we are thrown into the world or outside open, that is the time when we are forced to think what should be my career or my life goal etc. But in this approach, which is what we call it as sampradayika or traditional school, is that they teach what is the goal first, describe it, and once you know your goal, is that whatever you are learning, we can align it that whether it is taking me towards the goal or is taking me astray from that. So this way we will get a better idea as to why we are learning these first 4 sutras, because the 4 sutras are, first one is what is called Athato Brahma Jitnyasa. Hence now the inquiry into Brahman. Now that there hence is there, 4 is there, the inquiry into Brahman, all those things are detailed explained. Then what is the Brahman? So the word Brahman is explained in the next sutra, what is called Janmadhyasya Yadaha. So Janma Adi Yasya. So from where the creation, existence and dissolution takes place, that is defined as Brahma, and that detailed description of that is there. Then if that is the case, why is that this is taught in a particular way, or this is explained in the 3rd sutra, which is called Shastra Yonitva? The only place from where we can know about the existence of such a thing as Brahman is only from the Shastra. So Shastra is the what you call, is the womb from where this particular existence of such a thing can be known. In no other mundane teaching can give you that knowledge. This is the 3rd sutra, and the 4th one is Tattva Samanyayat. Then there is a concomitance, or how do we make a consolidation or concomitance of the different aspects of teaching to know how we should go further into this matter. Then the real sutras start after that we are not getting into. So once we do these 4 sutras in detail as per the Sankara Bhashya, we can then go to each of the Upanishads. Ishakena Kata Prashna Mundaka Mantukya Itiriya Taittiriya Chandogya Brihadaranya, and in between Ishakena Kata we should go and look into Gita Bhashyam also. This is the overall picture I have in my mind. I want you people to respond on this plan first. Then we will open up for questions in general about what you have studied till now, and any doubt which you have, which you need clarification, we can go ahead. So what do you say about it? Yes, Chandramodaya. We can't hear you, Chandramodaya. Yeah. Yes, now you can tell. You are unmuting, but your voice is not coming. Maybe you have to restart your system or mobile, because I'm not going to share anything, so you can use your mobile also to log. Now I can hear. Tell me. Okay. Shobha Bhagini.
Mudaya. Also, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but Artemisia, is it? Her audio is not on, if you wanted to ask something.
Yeah, she's on the phone. She can unmute
okay.
and talk.
Okay. All right. No, that sounds very good, Mahodaya. The four first sutras of Brahma Sutra Bhashya, and then Brahma Sutras, and then so you would like to go cover the Upanishads after that, including the Kena again.
Kena, I
So
won't be repeating. Kena, I don't
okay.
think I need to repeat because I have gone through the Sankara Bhashya.
Yes.
Because actually speaking, the system is like that: Isha and then Kena. But I purposefully did Kena because I thought that will be the the basic questions which one should get in their mind before knowing where we should go, no, or what we are looking for.
And it
Whereas
was very good. Yeah.
Isha is basically starting with the assumption that we know where we want to go. That is why I had to take these four sutras before Isha.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. About Kena, I just wanted to say that it was very helpful. Starting with Pratibodha Viditam Matam, and then they gave the example of the flash of lightning also as an analogy. That also is very helpful, combined with another analogy, that blinking of the eyes. So together all the three are very helpful in for daily practice.
Okay.
And uh, there you mentioned Tadvanam iti. So what could you talk about that again? Why one of the names for Brahma is Tadvanam?
Yeah, Tadvanam. See, what does that is, what does the Bhashya says? That which is explained as that Vananiyam means the what which need to be utilized or appreciated or or we have to rise up to that. See, it is that which like eligible for what you call the right word I'm not getting. Eulogy, no, not eulogy. A better word will be to appreciate the greatness and the vastness of that is Vananiyam. Means it is the only one in the whole knowledge ambit which is deserving that type of an appreciation, or looking up to solve all the problems, or to give the right understanding, because it is Jnana Swarupa. It is the knowledge in essence, and the being and knowing are not different. So nothing more than that can be surpassing that to take a higher pedestal. Therefore that is Tadvana.
Okay, thank you. So you were talking about Upadesha Sahasri also, Modaya.
Upadesha Sahasri is similar to Aparoksha Anubhuti. Only thing is that it's slightly more expanded compared to Aparoksha Anubhuti.
Okay.
That will be more useful for the beginners. Like instead immediately we should have done it. Immediately after Aparoksha Anubhuti, we should have taken Upadesha Sahasri before going to any of those things.
Okay. What is the traditional approach, Mahodaya, in Advaita, as you were saying in traditional schools?
In the real traditional schools, first they teach is Vyakarna, grammar, Sanskrit grammar. Then after Sanskrit grammar, they teach Nyaya and Vaisheshika, because the logic of questioning and inquiry into the matter, details and all those things. In the same way, along with Nyaya Vaisheshika, there is something called Kalpas, this thing what you call Nirukta. Nirukta is the etymology of words which is there in the Mimamsa. So Nirukta plus Nyaya, if the traditional with the Vyakarana or the grammar, that student becomes capable of thinking and analyzing of the word etymology, and that, see, there are words in, as per the Shastra is concerned, word per se, Shabda has got Shabda and Artha. Shabda Artha also is there. Artha means there are two things in it. One is the material which is being conveyed by the word. It can be emotions, feelings, thoughts, or objects, or anything can be. But there is also something called a meaning for that. Suppose if we are taking a word like, say, flower. Now, the object flower is conveyed by the word pushpa. Now, the word flower doesn't mean that it is just an object flower what is being there. When the usage of flower is used as flowering and etc. in a sentence, it is not becoming a flower. There the word meaning can be different. It is maybe to, enhance the capacity of the knowledge. These type of intended meaning, what we call lakshyartha or the shabdartha, this will be known only if we know the construction of the word, what is the intention behind the speaker in using a particular word. Why not an alternate word? This, if you want to know, you should know Nirukta and Vyakarana. In the absence of that, we have no choice but to depend upon what Acharya Shankara has written, and he has explained it. Because otherwise, after Shankaracharya, Ramanuja wrote Bhashya on that, Abharma Sutra, Madhva wrote it, Vallabhacharya, and many others have also written on that. If Shankaracharya has explained everything, what was the necessity for others to go on explaining the same sutras again and again? Because each one of them had a different way in which looking at the same construction of the words. This is what is called the traditional approach. When they teach not only the Bhashya, they also take the sub-commentary. They take Bhamati of Vachaspati Mishra, Vivarana of Vivaranakara, then they have Anandagiri Tika, like that. Then Vallabhacharya, Sri Bhashya, all those Bhashyas are being given so that the student in a traditional ashram is given the way in which questions can come from the public at large, because everybody will not be trained in the Shankara Advaita methodology. There may be people coming from the dualistic, Dvaita or Vishishta Dvaita, or he can be even the Buddhist, or even the materialist, Charvaka, and there can be even Nastikas who do not even believe in any of these things. These type of people can be there when you are doing a satsanga or typical discussions when you do it. So to answer them, those who are getting trained in the ashram should have all the armory in their hand. So they are being taught in all those things. But what they will, even there, what happens is that some of the students find alignment with, Dvaita philosophy or Vishishta Dvaita, and they will leave that ashram and they'll go to other ashram where the Vishishta Dvaita or Dvaita is being taught, because they themselves are aligning more towards that. Same way, people from the Dvaita or Vishishta Dvaita, those who do not readily accept, blindly accept those philosophies, they may come to Advaita ashram also trying to find out more what is Shankara's way of approach to that. So this cross transfer of students in the ashramas take place, because it is the what makes meaningful to you is what you should follow. So that way the ashrams are quite open, and they don't have any fight or loggerhead between them. It is those who have half-baked information who fight in the marketplace, not those who have done the traditional studies.
That is the excellence of these teachings.
Yeah.
Sorry, you are saying something.
No, that is why we should know the word and word meaning, not only from the point of view of the traditional, but as you said, if you are to go find the traditional thing, then I may have to open an ashram and have a full others also as teachers with Vyakarana, Nirukta and Nyaya to teach the students completely. That is a full-fledged job, not a one-day evening class.
No, just wanted to know what the traditional approach was, and I understand why they start with Vyakarana and Nirukta and all that, because as a Vyakarana student, it has really helped me in understanding this, all the teachings that you have taught so far in a different way than so if possible, I think everyone should take it up also, if possible. I know that it doesn't always work out that way, so
that's why the typical shloka is there, no? Ananda veda bhuveditavyam alpascha kalo bhavascha vigna yat sarabhutam tat upasitavyam yada hamso shirambu mishram. That is Ananda Veda. There is millions and millions of books, even in Advaita. Bahuveditavyam. There is many things to be studied. But what is the problem? Alpascha kala. We have lifetime is very limited. And in the lab, bhavascha vigna, there are multiple hindrances, because we have to make a living, we have to work, we have to attend to office work or household work or study. So the time to get available for pursuing this is very limited. So the shloka says, Yat sarabhudam tat upahasitavyam. So take what is the nectar or the crux of the whole teaching in what is given in these books, instead of studying all the books in detail. An example is being given that the swan, which is capable of taking out the milk solid from the milk water mix and leaving alone the water outside. That is what this example has given. So we should also only look at the crux of the Advaita, what is being taught. And once this, it is from personal experience I am saying, once you have a firm footing on Advaita way of approach of life, then whether you listen to the Dvaita, Vishishta Dvaita, or Marxism or communism or materialism or any of them, you can see where it is coming from. What is the basis on which these questions are coming from? So you are established in Dvaita, so you know that how to evaluate and how to respond to that.
True. Yeah, you actually see the same tattva behind all of that.
Yeah, but then they have not understood it fully, so they are thinking that aspect only is right.
Yes, it's just as I was saying, the excellence of these teachings is that they're so universal, so that they don't turn away anyone, and using any one of these, you can still teach and bring a student to that point. And thank you, Mahodaya, for taking us through this journey and continuing to take us through journey, answering all our questions, making it clearer and clearer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, one thing which I want to tell you that I am doing this for my own benefit. when I'm doing this, it is making me to do homework, prepare myself, and that way I'm revising what I've studied. Plus, whenever a question comes from you, any type of question for that matter, when it comes, it is like a nididhyasana or mananam for me, because then I have to think from why should that question should arise first and foremost. Second thing is that from which point, if I answer, will that question make the answer to that question will make meaningful to the questioner, the one who asked the question, and then how can I align that to Advaita and to give a direction for answer to look from a Advaitic perspective. So that way I get benefited. That is why we in the tradition we say that Swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramatitavyam. In the Swadhyaya means self study, and pravachana means in teaching to others. Na pramatitavyam. You should not have a pramada or laziness or what some sort of a comfort level. No, it should be taken as a main task for you. So both study and teaching will only improve one's own standing. Yes, Chandramodia, you are able to talk now.
Can you hear me now, Modia?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay. No, I was saying like your proposal is definitely welcomed actually. I think last time we discussed about the Brahma Sutra, and when we started with Aparokshanubhuti, definitely I was very, very beginning level and struggling a little bit, but as we moved further with Dakshinamurti Stotram and this Kenopanishad, I think those, when I read those things back again, it makes more sense, more clear rather. So I would definitely welcome your proposal and part of it to go further.
Okay, that's great. I'm happy it's benefiting you.
I know it's very well, Modia. Particularly when I go back and read those notes taken during class. That time it was not, I could not understand that much more rather. But now it makes more sense and more adaptable, more implementable rather sometimes. It takes little hard efforts because we in the routine we forget, and again come back to those stuff. Particularly when something emotions goes high, when we calm down, we try to see that why it has happened. Analyzing those situations now, it is very helpful actually. That is what I see.
But you should not hesitate to ask the questions if it is not clear also.
No, it's clearer, but it's not like to absorb that one is clearer, but absorbing inside as a part of the our own thought process. It takes little tough. Understood, but to make it a part of our routine thought as we talked in the Sanskrit class so our thought process is still maybe English, but so conversion happens so similar like that way. So it should go as a part of the thought, then we don't have to worry much rather.
True. That's right.
Dhanyavad Mohdaya.
Okay, Dhanyavad. Atmishya, any questions?
Sorry, I couldn't find my the right button. No questions. I like very much what you said about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I liked what you said about
I can hear you.
Yeah, I like what you said about the goal first and not just being like a herd of cattle and having a focused approach and going into Brahma Sutras. That all sounds really good. and I don't have any questions.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you, Sanakarachaya. Revati, Srinivas, Yash. Revati.
Namaste, Bindaji. Can you hear
Namaste.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I'm very eager to join the journey of Vedanta, Bindaji, with the guidance of the Guru like you, Bindaji. Yeah. And the thought of these all the Upanishads and Brahma Sutra is very beautiful, Bindaji.
Okay, great. Yes. Yeah. Anything else? And any questions or any doubts on you? Anything which you want to ask?
Yes, Bindaji. Here the prana is the very subtlest thing, no, Bindaji?
Yeah. See.
Than mana, subtlest than mana.
No, see the word prana, depending upon where it is used, we have to understand that some places prana is used as atma, somewhere it is used as life, some places where it is used as the vital breath. So depending upon the context under which it is being questioned, we'll have to say the reference to the place where you are asking that question, then it will become this thing. Because the Upanishad, see, those days what happened is that they were more like the rands of those who realized masters. They did not give much importance to the using a particular word. So when they meant prana means can be atma, prana can be, as I told you, the pancha prana, or the life in the body, etc. Everywhere the word prana has been used. Same way atma also, the word can be used as atma and brahma as identical, or atma as jivatma and as a in the individualized atma, or sometimes atma is used as also the ego or the individual, in the sense that the same word can be used. So that is why when we pick up a book and start studying it, that unless you have been explained with the reference to the teachers who have been taught by their teachers, we do not know exactly what is the word meaning we should pick up there. Just having an Sanskrit English dictionary, and if you try to find an answer, you may be misled by, because the multiple meanings will be given under the dictionary. Which one will you pick up? That will be a difficult thing which one will find. So the prana, which depends upon where you are asking or which text are you referring to, you have to be specific when you are asking that question.
No, Bindaji, here the Indra is representing the mana, but he understands and he goes near the Brahman. He could catch by little of that Brahman, but prana couldn't do that. Why? I thought prana was very subtle and very near to that consciousness. So I thought like that.
Yeah. So you should say that you will see that in that particular story of in the third and fourth section of Kenopanishad, all the indriyas are coming in contact with Brahma, that light, resplendent light, but they are not getting an answer for their
We can't hear you, Mahodaya.
Like that, all indicative saying that our sense organs individually are actually in contact with Brahman whenever they are in touch with the world outside. This is exactly what the mantra also says, no pradibodha viditam matam. That also is saying the same thing. But what happens is that you need the knowledge of Brahma to come from the inner in Antakarana or the mind intellect complex. There where the Indra is being represented by that. And Indra also cannot directly comprehend it, because it is not an object per se to be comprehended by the mind or the intellect. That is where the Vidya or the Devi as a knowledge embodiment explains what that light is, not giving the experience of the light. The experience of the light is there for the Antakarana. Even when it was this thing there, through the sense organs, they are already having the contact with the mind, and the intellect will be contacting. But to decipher that, you need the knowledge. That is why the story is given like that.
Okay, thank you.
Mahodaya, a question there. So at the end of this story, Indra just became prepared to realize the self. Is that right? Indra
dropped his ego. He meditated upon that to know what it is. He was not willing to give up and go back, saying like the fire or the Vayu. When he meditated upon that, what was that he was trying to intellectually, or from the Manana and the Nididyasana, he was trying to find out the intellect, the Antakarana. That is the time when the knowledge rises in the mind, in the intellect. The intellect and mind are not different, two are different, same thing, Antakarana. And in the Antakarana, when the Jnanodaya, when the knowledge rises, in the knowledge we understand what is the reality. The knowledge, the Antakarana cannot comprehend it. That is why it vanished.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah. Because
he's representing the Antakarana. And Antakarana.
The Antakarana cannot comprehend that Brahma. Only when it was started meditating and Manana Nididhyasana being done by the Antakarana, the knowledge arises in the form of that Uma Devi, one who comes and says that Brahma iti. And what did she say? That it is that Brahma which was behind for the success. Means the success of the sense organs in understanding the knowledge about the world outside is not because the eyes can see, but this will come in the 8th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, which I am taking tomorrow in the clubhouse, where it says that the eyes can see the object. That means it is coming in contact with the world of objects, but it need not necessarily see the object, eyes per se, unless the chakshusha chakshu, the eye of the eye, is also in tune with the eye. Then only the vision or the understanding, what is known as seeing, takes place. When we are open with our eyes, how many objects are coming and going in front of our eyes? How many of them are getting noticed?
Only
this is exactly that why the focusing is being done by not by the eye. It is just like the torch. Whichever direction you rotate, it will illumine that one. But when you see a path, then you will focus onto the path and then you start walking, no? That way, all the sense organs focusing, the one which making the sense organs as focus onto a particular object, there is a power behind the sense organs. That is why chakshusha chakshu, vachoha vacham, pranasya pranaha, or shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manoyat. All those things are being told by that only, that there is that which has the knowledge. When it operates through the sense organs, the knowledge of the individual with the knowledge present in the object comes in unison to become the object become known. The object, assume that it is a non-existent object, then you don't get the knowledge. What you get the knowledge is non-existence only, not the existence knowledge of the object. So that is where the difference lies in the whole. The story is only indicative, but we need to do a, why the story has been included in the Upanishad is with the purpose, because it is talking about the sense organs and the pretyasmat lokat amrita bhavanti. That is the benefit of that. Having known this reality, when identifying, that individual will no more identify, I am the seer, I am the hearer, I am the one who is enjoying, I am the doer. All those ideas will drop. That is what is called the pretyasmat lokat. Lokat means the world of objects. When that is being abandoned, and the establishing oneself in that source with which the sense organs or the mind or the intellect was working, when abiding in that pretyasmat lokat, and such a person becomes amrita bhavanti. He becomes immortal because he knows that that is one which is my true nature, which has never become diminished or increased or decayed or gone through any of the changes all throughout my life. Even though the sense organs, the body, the location, the objects, the taste, space, time, everything has been changing, there is a changeless one behind it. That is what is called amritattva.
This was a very good Upanishad, Mahodaya. It gave the tools to understand what you have always told us, to analyze every experience.
Yes.
So now they are telling, with these analogies, that there is a flash, and then, so Srishti, as you said, happens every moment, and then it has to be with the awareness, and then the awareness is covered, and we see the objects only. So always remembering that awareness is there, as it said here, as the flash, and then I'm not probably saying it in a proper way. So it is said that there is the veiling of the reality first, and then the projection, and every moment that's what happens. So that is what they have tried to illustrate using this story, and taking the sense organs as the Indra as the Antakarana, and then the Vayu and Agni and all that. So leading back to that shloka, Pratipoda Vididam Matam Amritatvam Hi Vindate. So what needs to be done is to just remember this process. That is, remember that this process is happening every moment. Is that?
Yes.
So because one question there, Mahodaya, when you say everything is happening in the Antakarana, and again it probably has many meanings there. Antakarana is that space, we can call it, where everything is happening, and that is in the awareness. Can you explain it a little bit more, what Antakarana means in the awareness?
Okay, now imagine your house. in your house, based on your location and the space, you anchor yourself there, and you have approach to the whole world because you are anchored in your house. The whole space, whether you travel to India, whether you travel any country and all those things, you have access to all the space and the time in that, around that, but your anchor will be always at your house, because when you're dising, there is a time and space limitation, then you fall back to your house for, that is the place where you are at home. This exactly happens when you look at your body also. All your sense organs can go in the waking to within its own limits. In the dream, it goes beyond what the sense organs can give in a different world, or even places which you can't even think or imagine, and all experiences are being brought. But in all these happening, there is the I, which is resorted back by all activity at the end of the activity.
At the end of the activity.
Yes. At the end of the activity, where will you anchor yourself? Before you go for a next activity.
I see.
That anchoring is called the Antakarana, even though Antakarana per se is not limited by the physical body. Because mind, if it is traveling, the experiences are happening different places. If the Antakarana is located only suppose if your Antakarana is located only in your physical body, when the mind travels or when the thoughts travel to different places, the experiences of that different time and space is still being experienced internally, is what we feel it, but actually speaking, our mind also travels along with that thoughts to wherever it is. So you cannot physically confine it into our physical body.
True. So it is not only in the dream, but even in the thoughts when we are somewhere else.
Yes.
We are not actually in the body at that time, are we?
Right.
We are taken
we
on
are
a
not.
different body. We don't realize that. We think we are doing it from this body, but we aren't. Actually, sometimes we forget the body when we are daydreaming.
Yes.
So that should tell us that that body is not real.
So Antakarana doesn't mean it is inside the body.
Right.
There the Anta means the end of the instrument of knowledge.
End of the instrument of knowledge.
Yes. Karana. Antakarana. Karanasya Antaha. Right? The end of the instrument with which you measure the experiences.
Okay.
That is one explanation. The other explanation is that when you cannot place it in any space and time, yet your experiences are happening. So where will you place it? You have no locus where you can place it.
No.
Yeah. So you cannot really say.
Why do we keep coming back to this body as our anchor?
Because it is just like why we go to the power station for the energy. Whichever house we stay, we are linked to the power house, for our energy.
Oh.
Right?
Yes. So we need to get rid of that thought. That is the anchor. It's not the anchor.
You see, this way we should think about it ourselves. It is I always tell this in my all my lectures. I say, unless when you are hearing it, please understand we are not talking about something lying in the sky or somewhere else and everything. It is talking about ourselves. So if you do not apply it onto you and experiment it on you, you will never realize it in yourself. It is not that I am talking about a Great Wall of China which is in China, nor about a Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy, or a pyramid in Egypt. They are all located in different places. Here we are talking about the very essence of what we are all. It is with each one of us. So when it is being explained, we should apply it to ourselves and try to locate where we are feeling that explanation is resolved into. This is what called swamshikaranam. It is swa-amsham. It is our part. It is being taught to us as some part of us which is there in this body, which is the source of all knowledge. Through the skin, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, seeing, whatever may which we can expose a world outside. But a part of us in this body is the anchor from where all these places, all these instruments are getting the potency to function. So when we are talking about it, if you don't resolve it to that, can we say it is located in the heart or the touch, if it's in the leg, the end of the foot or the top of the head? No, we cannot. This makes us feel that it is not exclusively limited in the body, because experiences when it is there down from outside the body, experiences like the dream, etc. also, there is the vastness of this source available everywhere. So if we foolishly think it is in the physical body, then we are lost it. But at the same time, if we anchor it to that source of knowledge or knowing, which is not limited to any physicality, in that activity itself, it is present. So when we are asked to do this swamshikaranam, means it is to remove the qualifications of happening to identify the knowing entity or the source of knowledge in every experience. This is what is called the pratibodha viditam.
So the indriyas, the senses, sense organs are acting independently, independent of the physical body. Otherwise we would not have any other experience.
Yes.
We won't have the dream experience, we won't have the daydream experience, thought experience, because the body isn't there. So yes.
So apply it to ourselves and try to locate where is the I existing for that experience, for me to say I am seeing, I am hearing. In that experiences, where is the I who is seeing, who is hearing, etc. I am not the instrument. I am not the eyes, not the ears. I am not the mind where it is getting united. But I am there, not here in this body. If I am here alone in this body, an object which is outside, miles away or distance away, how do I have a feeling that I am knowing it?
So therefore we can conclude that I is everywhere.
This is what is called manana. You have to do that. Logically I can explain it, but experientially, individually, we have to do it ourselves. Each one of us have to experience that. It is not like writing a notebook or a piece of paper and you read it, you don't. It is not that what is going to end up with it. This is a topic about talking about our own knowingness or experience or beingness. and it cannot be written down to see it externally. It has to be internalized and experienced. That is why avrta chakshu amrutatvam ichan. That word, by turning the vision inward or looking inward, he saw that source of knowledge or knowingness which is now not located in one place. Sarvam khalu idam brahma. So everything, everywhere it goes. Yes. What is your mistake?
It also depends upon one's own receiving, that is the grasping capacity also. Kalu Mohode?
Yeah, that is chitta shuddhi or adhikari bheda is because of that. A person who has never heard Advaita will not be able to understand that. That is why we have that Prakarana Grantha of Aparokshanubhuti in the beginning. Then we took a bit of, Dakshinamurti Stotram, because I wanted to touch upon that Bijasyam Guruvo Jakaditam Pranirvikalpam Puna. Then all those first 8 stotras are very indicative as to where you should look for it. Then Kenopanishad is the thing. So now what we are going to do is, we will know what is the goal when we learn the first 4 sutras of Dharma Sutra with the Sankara Bhashya. That is what we are going to start with. The Adhyasa Bhashya, the Natato Brahma Jitnyasa, Shastra Yonitvat, and all those things, and Tattva Samanyaya. All those things, Janmadhyasya, the second mantra, second sutra, all those things will be covered. So we have a clear picture as to this is what the whole Advaita is in a nutshell, which we want to now understand. Once that is completed, we will go to Ishavasya with Sankara Bhashya. The second one is Kenopanishad, we are completed. So I am not going to repeat that. Then we will go to Kathopanishad, Sankara Bhashya. And then we will deviate and touch upon Bhagavad Gita before coming to Prashnopanishad. So that way, I don't know when we will reach those destinations, but at least let us start from the Chatusutri. Yes.
Thank you,
Srinivas.
And I'm very delighted for the coming events, because now that you have described the whole plan, it is going to be extremely beautiful. My one question was, because you just when you just brought this concept of the Antakarna, which is outside the body also. So now my question has become diverted, that I want to say that without using the Vyavarika or the outside body, or without the senses or something, can you try to explain if even the Antakarna, which is an appearance in the meta layer, how does that appearances get formed? But I don't want you to go in the Vyavarika and use the words body, mind also. So is there a way where we can try to understand how the Antakarna is formed?
Antakarna, that's what I said, that Antakarna is present with you as the moment your individuality starts. The I-ness, which we call it as ego or the individual, not the egoism or egotism or whatever may be that word. I'm not talking about that. The individual, the feeling of I. The moment the awareness functions through in the Antakarana, that is the place where the I is first propping up. Now, can you locate where that I is propping up? It is present in waking, it is present in dream, it is present in deep sleep. But in the deep sleep, we do not know where the I is there, whether the Antakarana is there, or we have no knowledge of anything of that sort. So it is a very difficult area, and there is no anubhava, no experience of deep sleep. It is the absence of experience which we call it as deep sleep. So it will be difficult to resolve it into the deep sleep state. But in the dream and the waking, word, when the moment before any experience, the I has to be preconditionally present without any adjectives. I'm not talking about the world or anything. Even before you get up from your sleep, you feel that I am now there, getting up from sleep. So the I is the first one which comes up. Where does that I, can you locate it? That is the place called Antakarana.
And Binduji, in deep sleep?
In the deep sleep, that experience is not there, therefore the I is also not there. Because the I and that world, we only when the experiences come. Otherwise, the world is gone. And when the world is gone, the I is also gone. That is why the Brahma Sutra Bhashya will explain to you when it comes to that. Yushmat asmat pratyaya gocharayo vishay vishay, when it starts, that opening sentence itself is a real nuclear bomb for the brains. It will scatter it in such a way that you will not be able to find a resolution easily unless when Shankara starts explaining it in the subsequent sentences. Because the first question, for the first statement itself is a question by an opponent. So in deep sleep, there is neither the I nor the what you call
Antakarana. Okay.
Yeah.
But the impersonal self is there.
Yeah.
Binduji, my second purpose, other purpose of reading this again with you, Kenopanishad, was to know that even in the meta layer, one can see with his, with his seeing power, that he is not the experiencer and he is not the experiencing. And both of the events are going on and on, with him being just the seer of both the events at the same time, which is the reality at some point of this metal.
What do you mean by meta layer?
So it is not actually the meta layer, because Paramarth is like, for it to be existing, there has to be an ego to. So at that layer, I understand there is no ego to even watch what is happening. There is only that light which is shining, which is seeing the world, everything. Right. So, but at one layer of reality, we can still say that you can. So maybe that is a layer between the Vyavharika and Paramarthika, where you can, and it is not pure Paramarthika. So it is a layer where we can see the experiencer and the experiencing. Now your philosophy, or any Advaita philosophy, where they will go is, they'll say that the Atman is the ultimate watcher, and so when I won't be able to see the Atman, because then again I have to be separate from it, and but this layer of reality, here we can still deduct to see the experience and the experiencer. So do you have anything to say about this?
See, that's what I'm saying. Without referring to the external world, to to identify the knower, the awareness behind the knowing of everything, is impossible, because awareness by itself can never be known by awareness itself. That is as good as you trying to climb on your own shoulders. You can't do that, because you need something different from that awareness to become aware of something else. That is why the world of experience is for us to know that the awareness, what is our nature, is awareness. The world of experiences, the world is not separate from the awareness. At the same time, it appears to be different, separate, and those who forget that awareness is the projecting everything. For that, we have the dream experience, so that we know in the dream there is nothing other than that awareness which is projecting as the dreamer, and the world of dream is exactly what should be analyzed in the waking also. So this is why when you say that without using the experiences, the awareness can never be explained, because the awareness without the experiences, it is not called awareness, it is called a being. In the being, the awareness of being itself is awareness. There is nothing other than that. I don't know whether you understood what I am saying.
No, I understand that. But any space in the space or a gap and before a thought, can there be any?
Those are all methodologies. That's all methodologies which are, some people are using it. But there is no gap, no thought before, no thought after. It is just like, trying to initially sharpen the mind to think about it. So that sharpness of the mind is what is required to analytically disown what is not the reality. That becomes very difficult, because we are identification with the physicality or the individuality so naisargika, or part of our experience when we begin it. So to think beyond that, it is not possible unless there is a sharpness of the intellect. That is why all these techniques, like thinking the gap between the thoughts, actually speaking, is there any time when you are not aware?
No.
So where is the gap you are trying to look for? There is no gap. That is the Buddhas, what they Chanika Vijnanavadin who brought in that subject. Thinking that the knowing of the object is Vijnana. No. Knowing the object is what you call vritti, what we call it in our prakriya, Advaita prakriya, or the Shastra way of called vritti. Vritti is a thought. So thought will be of object. Objects will change, but the observer of the thought will never change. It is always present. He knows the gap between the two also, but that gap cannot be known by the knower, because he doesn't even look at the gap, because it is what you call Tailadharavat is what it is mentioned with. Like a oil flowing down, there is no gap in it. It will look like as if it is a straight rod, which is when the oil is being poured down. Same way, there is no gap between one thought and another thought to look between the thoughts. No. What you are looking between is when you are changing from one object to another object. But initial stages, those who are not conditioned with the thought process, to them it will help, because they were not even thinking from that point of view. So for that point of view, it will help them to understand, okay, technically they may feel that yes, there is a gap between one thought and another thought, but ideally speaking there is no difference, because that knower, the one who knows the thought, is also there always, all the time. So the thoughts in between, the knower cannot know himself, because without the thought he is not a knower. How can he be a knower without a thought? He knows the thought, because of that he says he's called a knower. Now when he is in himself, he is not called a knower, he is called a being. The being knows himself, but it is not a knowing in the, like how we know an object or a thought. Srinivas?
Namaste Bindaji. Thank you very much. Very excited that you are going to take Chatushutri next. Really thankful, Bindaji. I think the 5 hours, 4 hours we get to listen to you every week is really precious, and I'm very thankful. It is real blessing. I think of course I mentioned it many times. You keep it very clear, and yeah, it gives us a lot of confidence that we can also follow the path you followed, and we can also you give us a lot of courage. So at least for me, I get a lot of courage. Thanks for that. Like really precious 4 5 hours you spend with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Srini. So what we'll do is, I'll send out the handouts and the email before next Tuesday. So next Tuesday, let us start the Adhyasa Bhashya, or the beginning of Brahma Sutra, and the 4 sutras, the Shankara Bhashya. We will do it. So we will not hurry through. We'll take it very slowly and explaining everything in detail. And let us complete that before we go to the next one, because that itself will, I don't know how long it will last. Okay, any other questions?
Bindaji, I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say
yes.
Your answer to Yes's question was really, really well said. Thank you so much. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Shubharatrihi. Shanti.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyawada.